December 4th, 2025. A lone Russian soldier moving through the Donetsk region was detected by Ukrainian reconnaissance drones. He was tracked for a prolonged period without realizing he was being monitored. When the soldier finally spotted the drone, he raised his weapon and attempted to take aim. From hundreds of meters away, he fired multiple shots in an effort to bring it down, but none of the rounds hit the target. He kept trying again and again, failing each time. Meanwhile, a second drone had already been launched from behind for the strike. As the FPV drone rapidly closed in, the soldier made one final attempt to shoot it down, but failed once more. Seconds later, the drone struck him directly. A Russian soldier returning to his trench in an off-road vehicle was chased by a Ukrainian FPV drone. After noticing the drone, the soldier panicked, lost control, and fell from the vehicle. Moments later, the FPV drone struck the soldier directly. A Ukrainian fiber optic drone searching for Russian soldiers in the forests of the Sumy region soon detected an elderly Russian soldier hiding beneath a tree. December 3rd, 2025. Here it is again. Russian soldiers are caught in yet another sudden and unexpected strike. Escaping the drones that pursue them has become nearly impossible. Even in densely wooded areas, unmanned aerial vehicles continue to maneuver with extreme precision, tracking and reaching their targets. Since the very beginning of the war, drones have remained the most frightening threat for soldiers on the battlefield, and the primary reason behind the heavy losses suffered by Russian forces. The Ukrainian Air Force carried out a precision strike on a Russian UAV operator position near Vovchansk. Ukrainian fiber optic FPV drones infiltrated a Russian military camp in the direction of Vovchansk. They launched a sudden and shocking attack on Russian soldiers located in the inner regions of the forest. Although the soldiers, who were continuing their normal routine, tried to escape from the drones pursuing them, none of them managed to escape. Here, a soldier lying on the ground resting was attacked like this. A Russian Molnya 2 suicide drone takes off from an apartment building in Donetsk, carrying an anti-tank mine secured with duct tape. However, the drone crashed before it could fly, detonating the explosive. December 2nd, 2025. This soldier became the target of the drone, following behind him before he even understood what was happening. He didn't even have time to react. Once again, a Russian soldier is wandering alone in the Donetsk region. He notices an attack drone following him from a distance. Panicking, the soldier quickly jumps into the nearest trench and makes a huge mistake by deciding to remain motionless. Realizing that the rapidly approaching drone now has an easy target in the Russian soldier, it immediately launches its attack. The explosive carried by the FPV drone was so powerful that the Russian soldier was unable to survive the collision. Ukrainian UAVs detected an underground Russian military shelter and began striking it repeatedly with aerial munitions. After approximately 3 major drone strikes, the Russian position was completely rendered unusable. The size of the bombs used indicates how powerful the explosion is. With the intense airstrike, the trench is completely rendered ineffective. However, the incident did not end there. A Russian soldier then emerged from the destroyed shelter, waving a white object to signal his surrender. While being monitored by the drones, he slowly exited the position, attempting to demonstrate that he was unarmed and posed no threat. The surrendered soldier was then guided by Ukrainian drones and safely taken into custody. An artillery shell explodes against a tree near Ukrainian positions, captured on camera by a Ukrainian soldier. The Ukrainian 4th Operational Task Brigade detected a Russian soldier in the Pokrovsk direction. The soldier was attempting to hide deep inside the forest, trying to avoid detection by drones. He was tracked for some time by reconnaissance UAVs, and shortly after, a strike drone was dispatched to the area. As the soldier attempted to take cover beneath a tree, the drone struck. Moments later, an additional aerial munition was released directly onto his position. In the Siversk direction, a Russian soldier was detected at a power facility while attempting a sabotage operation aimed at cutting off electricity in the area. However, he was unaware that Ukrainian reconnaissance drones had already been tracking his movements. FPV drones were immediately launched to stop the operation before it could be completed. The Russian soldier was neutralized by the drones before reaching his objective. December 4th, 2025, a Ukrainian FPV drone from the 414th Strike UAV Brigade was deployed to search for Russian units in the Bakhmut region. For a long time, the drone pilot scanned the area for any signs of enemy presence. After carefully searching the terrain, the drone soon detected a group of Russian soldiers moving along a road and immediately initiated the attack. Russian soldiers appeared a few hundred meters ahead, carrying heavy loads on their backs. They were most likely transporting ammunition and food to their trenches. The unprepared soldiers became the drone's target. The Ukrainian Signum Battalion successfully infiltrated Russian trenches and defensive positions in the Lyman sector, launching a series of precise strikes using fiber optic FPV drones. Each trench was hit with high explosive charges, systematically disabling the entire defensive line. The Russian positions were destroyed one by one under direct drone control. Russian forces attempting to cross a bridge with an armored vehicle came under attack first. After the vehicle was struck, the surviving infantry tried to escape, only to be targeted moments later by a kamikaze drone. The Russian soldier did not manage to escape the attack. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, Ukrainian defenders repelled another mechanized assault, resulting in the loss of 3 Russian tanks and 3 Russian armored vehicles. The Incognito Group drone strike unit of Ukraine's 54th Separate Mechanized Brigade targeted Russian infantry in Donetsk Oblast. Russian soldiers moving alone in open terrain were engaged by drone strikes. Equipped with thermal imaging systems, Ukrainian drones continued their operations throughout the night, while Russian forces suffered significant infantry losses. In Kupiansk, Kharkiv region, the operation was carried out by the 138th Special Purpose Center. Highly trained Ukrainian soldiers conducted systematic search and clearance missions across the city, carefully inspecting abandoned houses, basements, and ruined buildings one by one. Every structure was treated as a potential hiding place for Russian sabotage and reconnaissance groups. A Ukrainian FPV drone pursued Russian reconnaissance drones. Although the Russian military drone, named Katana 2, attempted to evade the pursuing drone by maneuvering, the FPV drone, with its superior maneuverability, managed to catch up with it after a long chase. Several other Russian reconnaissance drones were also successfully shot down in the same area. It is becoming increasingly difficult for Russian forces to gather intelligence in the region. Chernihiv Oblast, Nizhyn District. Ukrainian sappers safely removed a dangerous rocket fragment that had fallen into the yard of a private home. Using specialized transport, the explosive fragment was carefully secured and transported to a designated site for controlled neutralization. The Ukrainian artillery detachment of the 159th Mechanized Brigade continues to strike Russian positions in the Belgorod direction. The Ukrainian artillery attack, which began on the morning of December 3rd, 2025, struck several critical Russian assembly areas. The Ukrainian drone strike unit, known as the Apache Group, detected Russian positions hidden in abandoned areas and launched coordinated attacks. Mortar fire, artillery bombardment, and repeated drone strikes were used in succession, systematically neutralizing multiple enemy positions one by one. They couldn't escape the attacks of Ukrainian forces in trenches that were very well camouflaged underground. Many trenches were destroyed in the same way. Russian forces have been supplying their troops with ATVs to move quickly across the battlefield. These lightweight off-road vehicles have become a common part of Russian military logistics. However, they have also turned into easy targets for Ukrainian forces. As the fighting continues, Ukrainian forces are maintaining relentless pressure on Russian trenches and frontline positions. Day and night, artillery strikes, drone attacks, and coordinated ground operations keep Russian defenses under constant threat. Many Russian units are struggling to hold their positions as Ukrainian forces systematically weaken their fortified lines. At the same time, Russian forces are facing serious logistical difficulties. Although new troops are continuously being sent to the region, many arrive with insufficient ammunition, limited supplies, and inadequate equipment. These shortages have severely reduced their ability to respond effectively on the battlefield. Ukrainian FPV drone units continue their operations without pause, striking Russian personnel, vehicles, and supply points across the front. With each passing day, the intensity of these drone attacks grows, further disrupting Russian movements and deepening the strain on their frontline forces. The situation on the battlefield remains extremely tense, with Ukrainian forces sustaining the momentum and Russian defenses under constant pressure.